Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? Holy crap, guys. This episode, kind of just finally made my prediction about the Golden Dawn guy much more true than I ever thought it could be. Never trust William, including after Yami said he felt something similar in him. So much to the point of asking him to remove his helmet, and all these different things that were giving him, the understanding that this person is probably the same one he's looking for, and for some odd reason, he can't put his finger on why he can't prove that. So it was pretty dope to see that. Not only that, we then get to see just what goes on in the mind of like the William this whole time. Is he literally has had Lich's whole entire persona like washing on him. So it kind of gives me the thought process of why wouldn't the guy of the Golden Dawn want Asta around that much more, what uh knowing what Lich knows about the sword. And when he saw Asta with it, he was really mad during their fight in the first fight with Yami versus Lich, which was really Yami versus William when you think about it now, which is really weird because here's the other thing that gave it away for me, like as a person who's taking notes of all the very small details that they're giving us, is if the Golden Dawn is one of the strongest and like the best teams that were supposed to be, capable of doing things to save the kingdom before probably anything even popped off, why wasn't the Golden Dawn guy ever there to really help lead like a rush against them half the time? He shows up one time, and every time it was just like there was a convenience factor of them never going to meet up, and so that also is a very big red flag whenever characters who seemingly match up and could do, good help for us, it kind of baffles you when they just happen to not show up all of a sudden. They're like, oh yeah, well, by the way, I am not in this week's whole entire episode to help my friends. Like, wait, the Golden Dawns are getting attacked and he wasn't there? That's the type of deal uh, William has been on for quite some time. So to see him unreveal his mask and have two supposed like personality slash people controlling one body was not surprising in the least for me anyway, just because there was a lot of fingers pointing towards it and less fingers pointing away from it ever since. Um, like the one time we see his face, Yami's still like, "Oh yeah, you still feel pretty similar to the guy that I literally went into a full death battle with." So I don't think Yami would ever forget something like that, like someone that he actually should probably have to kill sooner or later if he ever runs into him, which is another reason why Yami looks so angry probably when he saw or when he sensed the same magic, from William, and then all of a sudden William's magic probably disappeared, and then next thing you know, Lich is there. I'm not sure if he knew William, or he could sense their magic presence from where he was at like before William transformed and actually started using the light magic. But I'm pretty sure as soon as he knew the light magic came out, that's what really drew Yami up a tree in anger. And to see the Wizard King actually take some damage was super shocking. Like, I honestly thought this fight was gonna be a like stalemate, but at the same time, it seems like it can't be a stalemate because the Wizard King is a big like figurehead in this show, but is he the main character? No. So to think that the Wizard King is going to somehow outlast and beat this guy just doesn't feel like how all stories usually be coming to an end. So I wouldn't be surprised if somehow the Wizard King loses this, or somehow he loses the magic coins, or what, the magic stones, and Lich just makes a runaway. But at this time and point, it almost doesn't feel like, at one point it looked like Lich didn't need to run away, like he could actually maybe cause some damage over time. But then you see it and you're like, oh, he really didn't do that much damage. And the whole time too, which is dope, is every time the Wizard King uses something, he's doing Mana Zone, which just goes to show you how ridiculously broken he was when it came down to saving Asta the very first time. He literally did that without, saying Mana Zone. Sure, he was probably doing it, I guess you could say, but it wasn't incorporated in the show yet, so there was no reason to like say, oh yeah, that's Mana Zone confirmed, or something like that in those lines. Oh God, what? That was weird. And to see all this like playing out is actually pretty dope. And dang, I did zero damage. I just want to see what the Wizard King has planned, because at this point he's in a very, very tough spot overall, with having to attack a body that is owned to someone who literally, as he's giving you his speech of, why he. Wow. I tried to get all my yawns out before this video and I still couldn't. I apologize. Excuse me. We learned why William really looked up to the Wizard King and why he wanted to make the Golden Dawn. All these things that he was saying were coming from like a real place. He actually was excited that someone accepted him like they did. But then having Lich in the other ear, supposedly he believed what Lich said. He believed everything that Lich was going to do and that Lich was going to make happen. So then when you get to that case, you're like, okay, so who do I side with? I have someone that's on the best side of the other side that someone that Lich hates, and then I have Lich on the other side who supposedly is always probably been there with them, talking to him and stuff like that. So it's this very interesting notion that whatever Lich has been telling him, he believes it to be true. But whatever the Wizard King tells him, he also believes it to be true. So it's almost as if he's saying, hey, if you can defeat Lich that's inside of my body, I will come, and I come back, I will follow your lead. But if Lich beats you, I have, like, I won't pick between you two. So it's almost like you said, one of you need to die, and whoever dies, I'll be on your side. And that's a very, very interesting spot to take at this time. So it kind of goes to show you that he does have his own personality. He does seemingly has his own view, or his own will. It's just that his will is in between two of the most powerful people as of right now. And that is about to be solved. Like, we're going to see just how it all plays out, or where he's going. Because at this point, he's literally just stuck for the ride at this given time. And it feels like that would be a reason for the Wizard King to actually hold back a little bit, because of William inside. Like, he's just fighting William's body pretty much. So I would love to see how this all transpires. How the heck did he do that? That was sick. But overall, I don't expect too much to happen in the grand scheme of like the Wizard King dying, or even Lich dying, like within next week. So, like I was saying though, it's a story, and if you're gonna tell a story, you should probably allow the villains to get closer to their goals than not, right? I mean, if we just stop him now and get all the stones back and put him in jail and all this stuff, like it ends there, So that's why I'm like, nah, there's no freaking way. Like, I mean, they could probably trick us and have, the Wizard King who's straight up using Monotone in like every single move, and we learn more about his magic's more potent when he is trying to drain someone else's time, compared to just predicting attacks and all that stuff. the real focus of his power comes from actually using that time ability against his opponents, not so much more on himself. So it just goes to show you that even when he was using that, he wasn't getting the best out of his magic. He was really just using it as a defensive mechanism with his flight ability. And it just felt like there was so much more that was going to come from this battle. But to think that it lasted pretty long in the case of like they talked a lot to give us exposition, and then after we knew the exposition, like we learned, you know, how Williams feels about all of it and all this stuff. So it just got to the point where now that we know all this, we just take it as is, and we'll see how it all plays out. Because as of now, man, I honestly want to see how this fight could truly play out. Because, like I'm thinking, the villain needs to kind of win in this situation because they've already like lost every single time. So to get one win would be mighty good for them. So we'll see how that plays out. I might have just gave them. Oh, let's see who wins. Me. But with all that being said, my anime people, I hope you have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I am your boy, the Anime G, and to think that we didn't even need to show Asta, Yuno, and the complete raid on the Midnight Eye kind of gives me a weird feeling that there's still something to show back there. There's still something that should be going on, and not to mention the fact that Yuno was traveling with his group, and they sensed a enormous magic power up ahead. And from what it looked like Lich and a giant energy ball of light. So maybe he just has the will to put himself on the body of like in the body of somebody who he's already like transferred his mind to for sometimes. I'm not sure. But it also made sense that um the fire guy might have saw William's face, like saw the Golden Dawn's face once he transformed into Lich to then attack him. So it would make sense that, like how the Wizard King said it, that's the only reason why he let down his guard and was probably taken out much easier than he should have been. Not to mention all the things that William has probably been doing behind the scenes, or Lich, I should say, when William is not in control. So I don't know. I feel like this guy should have known after he saw how the Wizard King fought and everything, to think that he's just going to fight him heads on and not have any like actual plans set up or traps set up or things like that just to give him any type of advantage after knowing that he can rewind time and all this stuff. He even rewinds his wound and stuff, man. This episode was so hype. I'm kind of mad it took so long to get to the Wizard King's part, but once it got going, man, it just didn't stop until it stopped. So thank you for that, and I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I will definitely talk to you soon. So with that being said, peace.